So Easter was Sunday, obviously, and we talked about Jesus's death and resurrection. And I love going to church when you hear something that you haven't heard before. I mean, you might have heard the story a million times, which I have, and there was something new. So I wanted to share that with people. So like when Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, go to the tomb after Jesus has been crucified, you know, the angel is sitting there. He says, why do you seek him here? He's not here anymore. And that part I knew. But it was the next part that I'd never really heard. The angel says, go tell the disciples and Peter that Jesus is risen. Peter was a disciple. So why would he designate Peter?
Because Peter was the one that denied him 3 different times. And I think Peter was at an all-time low.
Yep, I think you're absolutely right, because he had kind of disappeared. He had dropped off the face a little bit, went back to fishing. And I think that this is really important because Peter had a huge spiritual blunder, you know, and he was passionate about Jesus, but when the pressure was on, he folded. You know, he denied Jesus 3 times, and that caused that shame spiral for him. But I love the compassion that Jesus would have had for Peter to single him out and make sure that the news got to him, because he knew what he was going through. He knew the despondent nature, the guilt-ridden nature that he was in, and so Jesus wanted to make sure that Peter knew that this was not the end of his story, and that it didn't end with his denials, and that Peter didn't have to be stuck where he was.
And I think that's such a hopeful message for any of us, because we have been in Peter's shoes.
Oh, for sure. I mean, and Jesus does that for us today. We lock ourselves into the shame spiral when God already forgives us. We keep ourselves there. We have to accept that. And Jesus reinstated Peter despite his shortcoming, and Peter became the rock on which Christianity was built subsequently, which is kind of crazy. And so I guess the lesson for us is we're all going to fail. We're going to make mistakes, but it's not over yet. You know, kind of like that For King and Country song, it's not over yet. You know, that Easter is a great reminder that Jesus is constantly restoring us and resurrecting our broken hearts. So there you go. That's your Monday School for today.